Welcome to the ribbon cutting for the Columbus Road Bike Path Spur. We selected the best weather possible for you to attend this event today. My name's Andy Stone. I'm the city engineer and the director of public works for the city of Athens, and will officiate this ceremony today. I have a few remarks to give to begin, to give you a brief overview of how we got here, and then I'll turn it over to Mayor Patterson to wrap up prior to actually cutting the ribbon. So this project has been a long time coming. This project really originated with a bike and pedestrian master plan that was completed by the city of Athens in 2010, and that was under the leadership of Chris Nisley, at that time the Transportation Committee Chair, and Paul Logue, the city planner. And that bike and pedestrian master plan identified both successes and then future needs for bike and pedestrian infrastructure within the city of Athens. One of the things that the master plan identified was that the Hakaki-Nadina Bikeway, which we all know and love and have had for a number of years here in Athens County, is a tremendous resource, but we wanted to turn it from more of a recreation resource into an actual transportation resource and make it a usable highway, bike or pedestrian highway, if you will, for not only Athens County, the city of Athens, but also Athens County. And one of the ways we needed to do that was to create spurs and easy access points to the Hakaki-Nadina Bikeway. Additionally, that bike and pedestrian master plan identified the Columbus Road area of the city of Athens as being somewhat isolated from the remainder of the city. Columbus Road has been in the city for a long time, but because of the pretty significant hill that is over to your left, it's over 200 feet in elevation change from this portion of Columbus Road down at the bottom to the top of the hill up by 2nd Street, and that's a pretty significant barrier to overcome for pedestrians and cyclists who are traveling to and from the center part of the city. And we knew we had this nice flat bikeway. The only problem was there was a river in the way. So that bike and pedestrian master plan called for this project, not necessarily in this form, but some sort of connector to the center part of the city in the Columbus Road area. We applied for funding for this project in 2012. So we were successful in that we got $735,000 from ODOT through the Transportation Alternatives Program, and then another $500,000 from ODNR in the Clean Ohio Trails Fund. And those two funding partners are identified on the sign as you were walking up to the bridge. We started our project development. We initially identified 4 different routes to try to get from the Hakaki-Nadina Bikeway over to Columbus Road, and ultimately through the project development process settled on this bridge and this route as being the most viable. So we got everything ready to go, and Jones Stuckey is our design firm, and we got it all designed and ready to go, and we bid the project, and all the bids came in way too expensive, and we couldn't award it. They were more than well over 10% over the engineer's estimate. So we had to go back to the drawing board to squeeze as much money out of the project as we could, and we bid it again, and the second time we had no bidders. So, you know, the third time's a charm, right? But we didn't have enough money to do the project, so with our tail between our legs, we went back to the Ohio Department of Transportation, and they graciously increased the Transportation Alternatives Award by another $500,000 to allow us to deliver this project. And we appreciate ODOT's confidence in us to get this built. So in addition to trying to squeeze money out of the design, we also split the project into 2 different projects, a bridge project and a bike path, and the path itself. And the city somewhat functioned as the general contractor, and if it wasn't for my tremendous project manager and assistant city engineer Jessica, there's no way we could have built this, because we had to shepherd 2 different contractors who are both outstanding contractors, by the way. The total project cost for this project was $2.2 million, thereabouts, with about 1.8 of that coming from both the Ohio Department of Transportation and the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. So this bridge that you see behind me is pretty spectacular. I told Jones Stuckey when they were working on this project that I didn't want any piers in the river, so they designed the second longest truss span in the state of Ohio at 240 feet. And I'm not certain who the first one is, but I'm sure it's not remotely as beautiful as our bridge here in the city. And I think it's important for me to note that it's easy for government to not do big things. It would be easy for my staff and I to just go fill potholes and fix water main breaks and not try to do important projects to move the city forward. There are a million reasons why we can't do something, but it takes effort and it takes political courage to make big steps forward. It also takes money, and I applaud our city council and our administration for supporting this project and moving Athens forward. And this project is certainly a project that moves the city forward. And now we can connect a portion of the city and beyond the city, out 550 and 13, beyond with the Hakaina Bikeway, where previously we had no access. There are several people to thank, and I'll go through this list, and then I'll turn it over to the mayor for his remarks, because I know everyone's getting cold. The city officials, both Mayor Steve Patterson and our former mayor Paul Weil, who we formulated this project under his leadership. Jessica Dine, who's the assistant city engineer and project manager for this project. Chuck Nungaster, our city inspector. Paul Mosley, the service safety director. Paul Logue, city planner. Sean Beasley, who manages the water plant, but also the well field, which this path went through. Rich Capitelli, the Arts Parks and Rec director. Kurt Mail, Patty Whitmer, Ryan Swartzoff, and Scott Thompson from the government channel, who are here filming today. Our city council, the city auditor's office, to help us with the complicated funding on this project. With ODOT, we need to thank Steve Williams, Deputy Director for District 10. Thanks for coming, Steve. And also Debbie Fout and Alan Craig are both here as well from the district. Have helped us a great deal. Jeff Payton from Central Office, who ultimately allowed for the extra $500,000 to be awarded to get this project built. Greg Huffman, who did inspection on the ODOT side. Tony Durham and Mike Austin in environmental. Sarah Pepper that helped us with right-of-way. And then Jill Matheny and Lisa Mail with utility clearance. At ODNR, the Clean Ohio Trails Fund, both DeJuan Hammonds and Marlon Holloway were instrumental in the project. For this project, we got easements. The Athens County Commissioners donated an easement. ACENET and the ACENET Board of Directors donated an easement. And the Laurels and Athens House Realty sold the city an easement in order to build the project. Additionally, ACENET put up with most of the construction noise, specifically Director Larry Fisher, Barbara Volsko, and the entire board. We appreciate their patience. With construction, and the people who actually built this, the earthwork and trail was built by Thompson Excavating. Mike Fisher is the project manager, and he's here. And Dave Stoker is the superintendent. And then the bridge was the Ryder Company, and they're having their company Christmas party, no doubt somewhere warm today. Mike Killier was the project manager, and Jerry McVeigh was the superintendent. And then there are quite a few subcontractors as well. The design firm is Jones Stuckey, which is a division of Panani. Dave Jones is here today. Bill Kraus, Vince Jarrett, Adam Berger, Matt Bergdorf, and the whole team. At OU, I want to note Ohio University, Joe Lally and Greg Robertson for donating portions of the demolished dorms for bank protection. If you look down, you see some of the rock down protecting the bank. Not all of it, but some of it came from those dorms. Bill Lundebaum and Bob Hedry, inspection services through Michael Baker Jr. Incorporated, and then SNME, the geotechnical firm, and then the utility representatives from the various companies that helped us get clearance. David Rohr from AAP helped tremendously. We had to take those power lines out of service back there, and those are big transmission lines, so that we could set this bridge, and he helped us a great deal with that. Craig Oman from Time Warner Cable, Steve Kisling, Nathan Hank, and Joe Kozad from Frontier. One last note before I introduce the mayor. Remember afterwards to drop by Devil's Kettle, which is the microbrewery, one of our newer microbreweries across the street. I know it appears that we happen to be building spurs to all of our breweries in Athens. After the Little Fish opening coincided with the Northwest Spur project, and now there's this. Maybe we are. I don't know. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Mayor Steve Patterson.
It's beer tourism. I want to kind of reiterate a couple of the acknowledgments that Andy posted or presented. Again, ODOT, Alan Craig, thank you. Greg Hoffman, the easements from ACENET, a big thank you to ACENET for making that work. Construction, the earthwork with Thompson Engineering or Excavating, and Ryder Company, again, a big thank you. Design firm, Jones Stuckey. And then I think foremost, at least for me, from my vantage point, the project director of this project, Jessica Dine. Jessica has been out here working tirelessly, making sure this comes in, not only coming in, done right, but done right on time. And last but not least, Andy Stone. Again, as our Director of Engineering and Public Works, a big thank you to you for helping to push this forward. It's been a long time coming. I want to share with everybody, this was, I don't know, Jessica, a couple weeks ago, a week and a half ago, I came down to just kind of look to see how things were coming along. And Jessica and I were standing down here on the trail, and we're looking at the bridge, and she's kind of giving me an update on things. The next thing I know, Jessica looks up, and I looked up too, and here's a pair of bald eagles flying over the bike path, flying right overhead. And I was sitting there thinking about that over the past couple of days. You know, the bald eagle is symbol of the United States, the symbol of freedom. And I kept thinking, you know what? The symbology of that with this event today, this trail, this bridge, this axis, this spur has created another mode of freedom, freedom of access throughout our city. I was sitting there kind of looking and doing the GPS thing and kind of looking at this, what the spur represents. It's not just a spur that comes across the Hocking River and connecting Columbus Road with the bike path itself. It creates, as I see it, 3 different loops. It creates a 2.7 mile loop that goes up to 2nd Avenue, back down to Courier, and creating a small loop, a larger one that goes all the way on up to North Congress, and then go on down the Richland Avenue Bridge and back onto the bike path, about a 5.6 mile loop. And then finally a loop if you go all the way on down to Stimson Avenue, get on the bike path down by what will be our next roundabout in the city, yay, and creates almost an 8 mile loop. So we've got this really cool concentric rings of connectivity that just further enhances, again, the freedom of all of our citizens to be able to get around. The other thing too, as Andy mentioned, is with, I think there is kind of a method to the madness of connecting some of the microbreweries together, but it creates, you know, if you think about tourism and economic development to some ways, you know, to where from a tourism standpoint, we create this, you know, kind of unintentional, but this craft brew trail that we can have looping around that Paige Allaust and I were just talking about that earlier. We're going to do some really cool things, I think, in the future. But at the end of the day, it further enhances our bikeability, our walkability, and we once again push the envelope on becoming a destination that people are going to want to continue to come to Athens because of cool features like this. The advantage that it makes in terms of giving people the opportunity to get out and explore our wonderful community, the wonderful county that we live in, but most importantly, the city of Athens. So again, thank you. Without any further ado, let's cut some ribbon.
Jessica, you want to help us string the ribbon? And if I could get Dave Jones, the lead designer, and then Mike from Thompson Excavating, as well as all of our elected officials to come forward, please. And if I could also get Steve Williams, Deputy Director for District 10, and Alan Craig, who's the LBA Coordinator from District 10, that'd be great.
Up there. Anyone have scissors? Yeah, you're good? Okay. Oh, do I need scissors as well? Alright. You need scissors here. I know you're holding them.
I got it.
It's pretty exciting. I tell Jessica, we need to get the bag of scissors, and the fact that we have a bag of scissors in our office means that we've done several things right over the recent years. You ready? Everybody up here? Okay. Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Yeah, all right.
Merry Christmas.